Every single day, people take unwanted or unused items to thrift and antique stores across the country. But as the saying goes, one man's trash is another man's treasure, and we're here to prove it. Identify valuable things before you throw them away. Join us as we show and tell of treasures found and sold by a full-time reseller with the hopes of helping you find some treasures of your own. Welcome to the What's Sold podcast.
We are going to talk about what we sold this week. So we're going to segue into that. Folks, just buckle up. This is just going to be a longer show than normal, but we want to show this stuff.
Yep.
That is a great story. That is gold, Matt. That's what we call in the podcast business. That's podcast gold right there, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, what did you sell this week?
I'm going to go quickly because we don't have a lot of time. So one thing I sold was this kind of vintage.
Ooh.
It's a gravy boat. So it's connected. It's got a bottom part that's almost like a oval saucer. And then it's, it was made together. But it's like a blue sort of floral print with, like a little bird on the side. It sold for $4.99. It was made in Japan. It was made as a Japanese export probably in the 1950s. And I just want to show that and talk about it and say, this is ugly. Not a whole lot of people are going to want this on their table right now. This is the kind of thing that you can still find for $3 to $5 at thrift stores, Goodwills, but there is value in it. So even research stuff that you, from time to time, just say, you know what, I'm almost certain this is worth nothing, but I'm going to spend 15 seconds to look it up anyways, because you might surprise yourself. Another thing I sold, some paper ephemera. This is a dedication day program for the First Presbyterian Church of Hillsboro, Ohio, Reverend William McSurley.
Oh, sure.
Okay? And this was from May 14th, 1899. So it's very old. It has the sermons and the prayers and the whole service, kind of everything that happened in the service. This sold for $20. So this is the kind of thing you could buy in a lot of antique paper ephemera. And if you have 200 things that are like this, 200 times 20, like that could be some good money. You don't know, but I've made, one thing I'll say about paper ephemera is it's good. You can store a lot of it in a small amount of space, but it's the type of items that are not going to sell overnight. It's going to be the kind of stuff that sort of underpins the other exciting, expensive things you sell. It's what will keep your business going, is those smaller items. So it's nice to have a combination of things. Another paper ephemera item is like the cover. It's a cover of an old scrapbook from Victorian era. It's got a couple of children and a center picture that was actually it's a trade card that was stuck on there, like glued on there. And this has just since deteriorated and ripped off. But inside, or on the other side, I have 7 different pages that came from this originally, and they all have different types of die cuts and trade cards from the Victorian era of like women, fashion, children, other types of things like that. And this one, it sold for $38. If it had been intact, it could have sold for quite a bit more than that. And people, by the way, sell these trade cards by themselves, if they've never been used. Some people buy these scrapbooks and either use like a hair dryer or something to heat up the glue and remove them, or they'll just tear them out and sell them individually. You can find thousands and thousands of old trade cards for sale, and certain types of certain images sell more than others. So that's all I'm going to show you. One other thing, paper ephemera, is this paper sold yesterday. It is a newspaper. It is from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Nevada's largest and most complete newspaper. This is from December 7th, 1973. It's volume 65, number 248. But the main headline on here says, Gerald Ford sworn in as U.S. Vice President. So that's what this is about. There are certain types of newspapers that can have quite a bit of value if they're talking about major events in the United States. Now, the downside is major events were likely covered by almost every newspaper in the country.
Right.
How many were made by the New York Times? Like probably a lot. But how many were made by a tiny little newspaper that's not even in existence anymore? Well, that might have some value, right? If we're talking about the moon landing or Kennedy's assassination or something like that. So keep an eye out. This kind of stuff. I mean, I'm selling this on consignment for somebody, and I have 3 tubs of hundreds of newspapers. And she was like, I almost hate to ask you to try these. I would just assume throw them out. But if there's any value, put them out there. This sold for $25. It's just one newspaper. I've got hundreds of different major events in the United States from probably the 90s all the way up until the 80s. Yeah. So again, nothing super exciting, but these things do sell. People do collect old newspapers and old programs from churches that you've never heard of.
And they keep your business going.
They do keep my business going.
We talked about that, and I'll kind of sign off with this, but I've been doing a lot of research on different YouTube resellers because I'm fascinated, and we're in that sort of we're in that space big time.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. Like you and I have talked about this, Matt, with these people like, oh, I went to the Goodwill and I found this item and I sold it for $40,000. It's like, no, man, most resellers are not selling these items they're selling them for 25, 20. That's what keeps you in business. That's what makes you the side hustle.
That's exactly
the
right.
reality of what it is.
So I'm going to actually, I lied. Because we've taken so much time, I actually want to spend more time on this last item. So what I'm going to do is a teaser. Don't be mad at me. The teaser is I'm going to talk briefly and show the images of a couple items. And on the next episode, I will show them and talk about them again and tell you about them. We're doing a cliffhanger. So the first one is this little plaque. It's actually set up. It's framed like it can go on the wall. And it is an image of what appears to be coral and little, almost like little water bubbles or something in the background. It's a black background, red coral with little white bubbles, and it's framed. Okay? And this is a different size and shape, but these are the same thing, just in a different form. These are too small. They almost are the size of like a medium-sized cameo. They're oval. Yeah. And on the inside, they have depictions of flowers, very colorful, and they are inlaid into, again, this black background. And they feel just kind of like plastic, maybe slightly heavier than plastic. These happen to be highly valuable and very old. So anybody who's watching the YouTube video and sees these, leave a comment if you think you know what it is. Otherwise, I will show and discuss these and give you more information about them. This is something I just recently learned about and am selling. The plaque is mine. I got recently and didn't know what it was until these other items came in on consignment. I've done research and wow, you need to know about them.
You're killing me, dude, because I know you're not going to tell me. So, well, there's our cliffhanger, folks. Remember, write that comment. Tell us what you think. I have no idea what it is, so I'd be curious to see if people put it in there. We definitely check the YouTube channel. Remember to follow, like, and subscribe all our different spots. Give us information about what you want to talk about, things, questions you have. Go to the subreddit, all that stuff. But otherwise, that is all the time we have today. I'm not even going to ask for Matt to give us his
Don't do the things I did that I regret. Don't do them.
And that's his last word.
That's it.
Anyway, we'll see you guys with a brand new show next week and a new cliffhanger. So have a great week, everybody.
Take care.